Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and today I'm doing a discussion over the Quacks of Quedlinburg Herb Witches expansion. Now you have to forgive me, I actually don't have the box anymore for the Herb Witches thing. I had that expansion, probably for a year or something, before I even finally played it, so I was I eventually just unwrapped it, put it on the base box, and then, never reviewed it, because that's just what I do. But I still have the rule book, so that's nice. So pretend that this Alchemist box is actually the expansion. So, what do I think of the Herb Witches expansion? And slightly am I going to compare it to kind of the other expansion, the Alchemist, because you can get a mega box for Quacks of Quedlinburg. Again, like I said with the Alchemist, which I have a discussion for that one, so they should be up at the same time, and you can go watch that one. I think the Herb Witches expansion is good. In fact, I think the Herb Witches is a better expansion fit for Quacks of Quedlinburg. And what I mean by that is I feel like the Herb Witches kind of throws a slight wrench into the Quacks of Quedlinburg kind of base game. So Quacks is a simplistic enough party-esque game. One where it's like a beer and pretzels game is what I'd call it, where you don't take it too seriously. It's entirely possible for every single time you draw that for you to get all your cherry bombs, and you're just meant to just, be drinking, get a buzz, and have a good time, and just be in a good atmosphere. The Herb Witches expansion kind of takes that spirit and that atmosphere and kind of tones it down by adding a little bit more strategy. Not as much strategy as the Alchemist expansion, but enough that it kind of gives you a slight pause. So the Herb Witches expansion comes, and it's not going to sound like it's a lot, but the Herb Witches expansion comes with 3 different types of Herb Witches: bronze, silver, and gold. And every player gets 1 coin that's bronze, silver, and gold. Now, each of these, if you don't spend them, is worth 2 points at the end of the game, but I don't ever see a reason why you would ever do that. It feels like that they were like, hey, you didn't spend them, you get 2 points. Whatever. But you'll shuffle these up. There's 4 of each. You'll shuffle them up, and there will be 1 each for the game. And they will all the witches have a timing element to them. So the bronze witch, her ability goes off during the buying phase. The silver witch is during the prep phase, and the gold witch is during the victory point phase. All of them do that. The silver witch is always the prep phase, and so on and so forth. So, during those phases, you can choose to spend your coin on it to be able to do its ability. So, for example, the buying phase is double the coins you have to buy ingredients this phase. You can still only buy a total of 2 different colored chips. Okay. Hey, I got to 16. I'm going to spend that. Now I got 32 to pay for it. You only get to do it once, but now you got 32, and now you can buy that, really high, purple that you were wanting or whatever. This one is use your flask after your pot explodes. So you get pretty far, and you push your luck, and you're like, oh shit, I got to 8. Typically, you still place it, but your pot explodes. Hey, alright, I still got my silver. I can place that, so I get to use my flask, put that back in, and stop or keep going. And then this one is for every colored 2, 4, and 6 chip, as well as every purple and loco weed chip, you earn 2 victory points. So this is something you do at the very end of the game when you're able to get far, and you're like, oh, okay, there's a bunch of 2s, yeah, I got 40 points from that. So you get a lot of points with the Herb Witches expansion, or you certainly can. But they can kind of... and that might all seem simple, and some of them are it's okay, well, use your flask after your pot explodes, but some of them can get kind of confusing, where you have to start looking up certain questions, and I feel like if you're Googling questions in Quacks of Quedlinburg, it kind of failed a little bit. The expansion itself failed. And this happened in the Alchemist expansion. They added enough complexity in both expansions to make you have to be like, well, how does this timing work? When the base game of Quacks just did not do that, at least in my opinion. Quacks was so straightforward of a game. This was the one game that I was able to actually teach my mom. Like, and I sing its praises for that. It was like, oh, hey, all right, finally, cool. One of these types of games that we can play. And then, but I wouldn't be able to do that if hey, let's play the Alchemist, or hey, let's play Herb Witches. By the way, yeah, every color too. No, the white, I know white is a color, but no, not that one. Or, okay, hey, I know you got to 15. Do you want to use your bronze coin? And they're like, oh, yeah, I wanted to, oh, yeah, I forgot. It's like, it adds. Now, this one doesn't add as much, so I think the Herb Witches is a better expansion to get if you're wanting something new from Quacks, because it definitely just throws a new wrench into things. Like, I can't remember exactly what it adds. It doesn't even. Oh, yes, it does. Contents. Yeah, for 5th player, so you can play 5 players. Yeah, that's right. This, because I was trying to remember which expansion added it. This expansion also adds. Oh, where are you? I still have it in the thing. Nope. Where are you? It adds an overflow portion, because there are chances that you're going to be able to get really far. Oh, hey, I found it. Oh, no! No, wait, this isn't the Alchemist review. This is the Herb Witches review. There we go. It adds an overflow section of your board, which means that eventually your chips are going to get to overflow. And it also adds a new pumpkin thing. This one was a lot of fun, though. And now for 22 points, you can get a 6 pumpkin, which I definitely did. But every player now gets an overflow board that kind of prevents, so you don't cap out on to up to 35, where it's like, oh, you're just done. Like, you get 15 points and now 35 to buy. Now you can go over that. And for the value of all the chips in here, you add those together and divide by 2, and that's your victory points, even though your purchasing is still 35. The confusing thing about this, though, is, and it doesn't explain it, because all it does is kind of it's like, oh, okay, do you keep doing the abilities? Let's say you have a disgusting kind of like starting turn. You have a bunch of 6 pumpkins, and it's like 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and you eventually get there, and you still haven't drawn any whites. Do you just keep going and just add them into your overflow? I'd say so, but it doesn't really explain that. So it's like, oh, if you're able to do that, are you now just going to capitalize on a bunch of points at the end? So again, that overflow, if you're starting to ask questions and looking up forums for questions in Quacks of Quedlinburg, I kind of think you missed the mark on the expansion. Now again, the Herb Witches expansion is good. Like, I think the variety of adding in the witches is very neat. Theoretically, you can add the Herb Witches and the Alchemist for even more variety. But you're really, in my opinion, going against what Quacks originally was. And yeah, so it's a lighter expansion. The overflow was just kind of weird, but I get it, because some of these abilities can really just have you pop off. The 4 of each type of witch definitely gives you a ton of variety. These 4 are ones that I've played with, and they can be really good. You can get a bunch of points. You can, and the fact that they are one-time use does help. I like that you can, like, it's like, man, could I get more of these specific ones that this gold one's asking for? Could I get more? Is 14 points, is that a lot? Like, I have 7 of 2s and 4s and 6s total, so would that be 14 points? But I know I have more in my bag, so I might draw more next time. Oh, there's only 2 rounds left. You know what, never mind, I'm just going to take the 14 now. And then your next round, you draw all of them, and it could have been, 30 points, and you're like, dang it. But, I mean, theoretically, these are worth 2 points, so instead of 14, it'd be 12 overall, but yeah, I mean, you just shuffle them up, put them out, and those are there to be used if you feel like using them. This one also adds the Loco Weed ingredient that's variable, so that's another ingredient that's out. So again, the Herb Witches expansion is good, but if you're wanting to kind of keep the spirit of like, hey, let's break this out, alright, everyone take shots, and then we play Quacks, you might want to not include the expansion, the Herb Witches expansion. So then we go to my ranking. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give the Herb Witches an 8. I think it's still a really good expansion. I do like it. I would play with it. And if someone were to be like, hey, we're playing Quacks with the Herb Witches expansion, I'd be like, awesome. Like, fun time. But if you don't own any of them, I'd say you're really good with just base Quacks, which is very rare for me to say. I mean, it also, I think it does add more... Does it add more... Oh yeah, it added 8 more ingredient books. So that alone is kind of enough to get the Herb Witches expansion just for more sets, like the ingredient books being, you know, the ingredients. That is worth grabbing. Because just more ingredients is great for Quacks. But it, yeah. I mean, I guess you could just play with those ingredients as long as they don't mess with the Herb Witches. But you never know. So yeah, I'm going to give Herb Witches an 8 out of 10. Let me know what you think of the expansion in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.